Hello and welcome to your second guitar lesson with me. I'm pleased to see you again. I'm glad you've come back. So, before we went through the features on an acoustic guitar, and this week I thought it would be useful to do a similar thing with an electric guitar, because there are quite a few differences between the two, as you might be able to see. But before we get started with that, I'm going to check if you've done your homework, and I'm going to ask you if you can remember the names and maybe what each thing does of various features that we went through last week. And I will use this electric guitar for that. But don't worry, because I'll only choose features that are common to an electric and an acoustic guitar. So I won't be asking you anything that we didn't go through. So if we start up here, can you tell me what these 6 things are called, please? Quite right, yes, they are tuning pegs. And can you tell me what they do? Although the name gives it away somewhat, I feel. Yes, that's correct. They are responsible for tuning the strings of the guitar. Speaking of strings of the guitar, can you please tell me the names of each of the strings? So let's start at the bottom end. E, A, D, G, B, E. Well done. And can you remember what these spaces are called? Yes, that's right, they are called frets. We have the first fret, the second fret, third fret, and so on. And all of these frets together along the neck of the guitar are on the fretboard. So, congratulations. It seems as if you have remembered last week's lesson very well. Let's move on to some new stuff then. Features that you can only find on the electric guitar. And to start us off, we're going to go going to flip the guitar over. Because I want to show you these. And I must point out to you that these are not featured on every electric guitar, but on some. And they are clamps. And basically, when you put strings in your guitar, on your guitar I should say, what you usually do is thread it through a hole in this little bit here, and then you just tighten it up. Now, if you do this incorrectly, there is a chance that your guitar could slip out of tune. One way that this guitar stops that happening is by using these clamps. So the string will go in, and then instead of just sitting there like it does on a normal guitar, you would tighten the clamp, which then holds it in this little bit here, and then you tighten it as you normally would, and this just helps keep the guitar in tune. But as I said, they are not on all guitars. Something else you may have noticed about an electric guitar is that there are more frets, and the neck of the guitar is a touch smaller. Now, this gives you a little more option if you are a lead guitar player, and if you're playing a guitar solo high up on the fretboard, somewhere around here, then that is naturally much easier on an electric, than on an acoustic, because there are more notes available to you, and they're easier to reach due to the smaller fretboard. An acoustic guitar, like the one I showed you last week, you can only really comfortably reach, say, here, the 17th fret, and after that it gets very difficult to reach the notes. However, on this guitar, and on most electric guitars, it's pretty easy to reach these notes here, which is the 22nd fret. So, let us move on now to the body of the guitar, where there are the most differences. The most obvious difference to an acoustic guitar is that obviously there is no sound hole, because electric guitars plug into amplifiers. We don't need a sound hole. Instead, what we need is a way to get the vibration from the strings, the sound of the string, run through into our amplifier, and this is done via these, and these are called pickups. As the name may suggest, they pick up the vibrations of the strings. They carry it through the guitar, through a lead which would be plugged in here, and into the amp. And that is how the sound is amplified. Instead of using a sound hole and having the vibrations reverberate in the actual body of the guitar like in an acoustic. Now, if you're wondering why we have two pickups, it's because they offer different sounds. This switch here selects what pickup we use. So, in this position, we will be using primarily this pickup, which is nearer to the neck, and this gives a slightly warmer tone, a somewhat more rounded tone. That's good for clean guitar playing, for soft songs, for picking and delicate pieces. If I switch my pickup selector to what's called the bridge position, then we are primarily using the pickup toward the bridge, which is this part. And this gives a harder, more rock-based tone. That's good for distortion and heavier songs. So that is the pickups and the pickup selector. And there is also an option to use a mixture of both of these pickups by having the switch in the middle. And this obviously gives a bit of a hybrid sound. Now if we go past the bridge, you'll see these knobs. Now electric guitars only need two knobs. One to control the volume, and the other to control the tone. However, most guitars will have three. One for the volume again, and that is just a master volume that turns your guitar louder or softer. And then the other two controlling the tone of each pickup. So if you are switched to the bridge position, then only one of the tone knobs will actually have any effect, and the other one will just not make a difference. And if you were to switch to the neck position, it would be the same, but the two tones would switch around, so the one that wasn't working now does. that doesn't. Okay. Are you understanding what I am saying? Good. So the last thing I wanted to show you is something that I pointed out briefly earlier. The input jack. This is where we plug in our leads. Leads that connect us to our amplifiers and our pedals and what have you. We plug it in right here. And that's it for that, really. And that's also it for the features of this electric guitar. So thank you for joining me. Let's take a little break now, and then when we come back I will test your knowledge to see if you've retained what we've just learned, and then I'll start to show you some chords perhaps. So go away now and rest and relax. Maybe have a cup of tea or a glass of water, and then come back refreshed. Until then.